My name is Brad Cushman, and I'm the artist currently featured at Pulaski Tech in the Windgate Gallery. I have this great view of the Arkansas River, and these great old trees on our property are right out my window, and every day I see them, so I've started to work on landscapes that reflect that view. My father passed, and you start to reminisce and you get into the old photo albums, and I started going through the photo albums, and I found these images of a man I didn't know and my mother in grass skirts. In the midst of the reminiscence and the sorrow, but also the celebration of your family, you start to learn new things about your family that you didn't know before. The peekaboo curtain piece, the Wonder Bread curtain, that fabric was actually the curtains in our basement growing up. And my parents used to have parties, and of course, we weren't down there. We were upstairs watching the Carol Burnett show or Adam 12, but we could hear them all laughing and having a good time. And so when I found those photographs of them having a good time, having the party, I said something to my mom. I said, I wish she still had those curtains. My mom never threw anything away. And so she left the room and she came back and she had a bolt of that fabric. And I was just like, that's the gem, Mom. I can't believe you still have that fabric. And so consequently, I made the piece to mimic that curtain. And because everybody thinks, ooh, what's under the curtain? And I said, well, you'll have to look and see. And that's a fun one to play with, is people get to kind of do something they're not supposed to. They touch something in a gallery, which is kind of taboo, and they get to see a piece. But the people are just having fun and laughing. And so that's why I did the piece. I grew up in Illinois, and I was lucky in that the middle school I went to had a big art program. And I was going through a flat file the other day, and there was this little etching I did on plastic when I was 11. And it was a shoe of mine sitting in the grass, and I had scratched it on a piece of plastic, and then we ran it through a little press. And the only reason I tell that story is I'm now 54. I'm a professional artist, and I'm still doing printmaking and painting. And I think that's the great thing about art and education, whether you get it at middle school or high school or your first experience is at a community college. It's so important to give people those opportunities to get into a studio and make something and see what their hands can do. And it makes a big impact on their life. It changes their lives. As a kid, my parents took us to the symphony. They took us to art museums, took us on field trips to Chicago to see cultural events. And so that's why I think it's so important for places like Pulaski Tech and other educational institutions in the state. Having these kind of centers where you can do art and humanities opens a whole new world to students that might not have seen it before. And to me, that's so important, because it makes us a better whole when we have that at our doorstep. And so I think, I'm lucky. I had supportive parents, but I encourage all parents, encourage your kids. If they have a creative outlet, nurture that. Not everyone's going to be the star football player or, the head of student council, but encourage the theater students and the music students and the art students, because we all have to find our niche. And, I think Pulaski Tech is on the right track to encourage a lot more people.